Welcome back to the Art of Football 365. This is episode 57. Feels like we keep getting more and more episodes really fast, and it feels like all of a sudden we're going to be approaching 100 before you know it. Now that we're up over 50, it's kind of becoming a milestone to realize how much content we've put out, and we're just going to continue to do that for you guys. We appreciate the people that continually and consistently listen to us. Thank you for that. But within this episode, it's going to be a little twist up, kind of a debate, kind of discussing topics that were presented to us through people that listen to our podcast, or even just friends who reached out to us, or people that were on our Instagram Live that gave us topics and ideas to discuss and kind of have Gannon and I debate, go back and forth. But before that, Gronk spiked the subscribe button for us. We appreciate that. We're trying to run up the subscriptions on our page. We're around 250. 250. No, we are not around 250. We're around 215. Like our videos, comment on our videos. We appreciate that. It means a lot. The support is amazing. It makes us continue to want to do this and push for you guys. We appreciate you with all that. Thank you very much. Support our sponsors, 312 Beef and Sausage, Bacher Auto Group, and Driftless Quality Wear. And let's dive right into this thing. We got quite a bit.
Before we get going, we're supporting the man. Hey, he just got overseas. One of our first official guests we had on, Giovanni Offer. Congratulations. Shout out to him. Many blessings his way. Just played his first career professional basketball game overseas. He almost had a triple-double. I know there's been a lot of love and support in the 815 community back home, but just wanted to send our gratitude out to him. I mean, it's just awesome to see that, because I know he was talking about it when we recorded him last December, how long the process has been, and to see him finally go to the airport and fly to Europe, to someplace he's never been, a crazy, different type of culture, and just to see him, he's going to be experiencing that. It's awesome to see. I'm happy for him, but I just wanted to add that in there quick.
No, I'm glad you did, because I'll say something too. G, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on our podcast and talking to us, telling your story. We're 815 guys. You're an 815 guy. We support you. We're always in your corner.
I wear this damn shirt all the time, man.
Yeah, we're proud to see where you're at. You're an inspiration to us. You're an inspiration to many in the 815. So thank you for that. Keep being you. Never switch up, and always stay consistent with who you are, because you're a hell of a person, man. A hell of a basketball player. You do great things. Appreciate you. All right. First topic, Gannon. Kind of current, kind of happened about a week or so ago, maybe a little bit after that, before that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed Richard Sherman. Thoughts?
They're desperate. They need DBs. I mean, you're talking about with Tom Brady reaching out right away, doing that. And this last game, he did not look too hot playing defensive back position. But I think it's somewhere the name. It's also the same thing. It's also the Richard Sherman effect. I think it proves so far. We're going to see how it plays out over the course of the season. But I think the Richard Sherman effect from Legion of Boom, all that stuff that's carried on over the years, that's still kind of kept him relevant. He's also been a good player. I'm not going to discredit him on that, but I think that's kind of wearing off. And he looked old, in my opinion, this last week. He just didn't look like he was running around the field always chasing the guy he was covering.
Well, I think
it's the Tampa Bay Bucs. It's Tom Brady. I mean, they're going to always have the flash. They've signed all these free agents in the last couple of years. It's a Bucs move.
I don't know. I think I wouldn't say he looked old in this game. I would say he looked rusty. I mean, the man hadn't played in over 200 days. Coming off an Achilles tear. He's I know he's in his 30s. He might be 31, 32.
Yeah.
Whatever he is, he's an older DB, and that's tough when you're older. Your legs get worn down, and playing that position, probably the hardest position in football, cornerback. It's tough. And
yeah, I just want to base it off what you said right there. I just saw a video today on Twitter. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but they was just talking about, or it was from one of the guys over at Pardon My Take or whatever, and they were just talking about how hard the DB position is right now in the NFL. Not even the pure talent and skills you got to have on the field. It's just all the other baggage that you got to worry about. I mean, you're literally physically touching somebody with a half a hand fingertip, and you're getting thrown a flag. It's a lose-lose situation to play DB in the NFL right now. And then let alone, like you said, with Sherman coming off injury, being older, it's tough.
Yeah, and with this side of things, you guys want us to discuss Richard Sherman getting signed. So here's my honest opinion. Signing him, I think, is a good move in the sense that Tampa Bay is DB desperate, like Gannon said. They're in need of DBs that can come in and at least help. Like they need some guy who's got experience. From a leadership perspective, Richard Sherman, there's probably not many people better than him to have in your locker room as a veteran who's been there and he's done that. He's accomplished this, accomplished that. But from my point of view, how was the man never suspended? Now I know there's a possibility that it still happens, and I know that there's stuff being explored within it. But he was criminally charged for what he did and never got suspended yet. And Ezekiel Elliott got 6 games for suspension.
Oh, there's been a handful of players in the last 4 or 5 years that have been
this is the
right
one
away.
this is the one I'm most familiar with Zeke. He never was criminally charged with anything and got 6 games, boom, you're done, and fought it, blah, 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 all that. But Richard Sherman should not be on a football field right now. He should at least have 3 games suspended. I don't care. What he did there's no excuses for it.
Yeah, he didn't have to do anything.
He broke into a house, tried to break into a house.
No, I'm saying he hasn't had to do anything since it happened.
He needs to be suspended and probably forced to do some sort of counseling. Now, I don't know the man. Probably never will know the man personally. But that's just my perspective from an outsider looking in on the situation, that there's been other guys that have done things not as bad as what he did or what he took part in. And I think Richard Sherman should be suspended at some point in time during the season. I hope he can regain his step and help the Buccaneers. I hope he gets better as a person mentally, because I know they said on Sunday Night Football that he's working on his mentals. And we've all been there. We've all struggled. So we understand the fact that we're all human. We're going to make mistakes. I'm not saying this man deserves to be punished forever. This man just deserves a little suspension and a little something to be like, dude, this isn't okay, man. You got to fix this. You got to do better. We got to be better. But at the end of the day, Richard Sherman's, if he can get back to just a little bit of what he did with the 49ers, because he wasn't great with the 49ers, you know. He was kind of a player that was just decently consistent, so-so, dropped into his zones, performed, stepped up when you needed him to. But he's injury prone now. He's had some tough injuries, I think. Like an Achilles tear last year. That's not something you just bounce back from immediately. That takes a lot of recovery. But I think the Bucs, they just needed DBs. Now, people look at that as a big move because it's Richard Sherman. I know I've seen a couple people that are, like, I'm friends with or familiar with from my area that are like, oh, it's so unfair. The Bucs got Richard Sherman. Just stop watching football, man. The Bucs are going to win the Super Bowl. Stop that. Richard Sherman is not Richard Sherman of the Legion of Boom. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not been playing incredible football the start of this season, to be quite honest with you. They almost blew it with the Patriots. Tom Brady played awful, in my opinion.
That was bad. It was hard to watch that game.
Yeah, but that's my thoughts on this Richard Sherman thing. I think Gannon and I pretty much agree with most of this stuff with Sherman. But if you have any final thoughts on this topic, you can throw them in right now.
We're good. Let's get on the next one. I like this rapid fire. I like new topics.
All right. Now, this one's probably more a little bit for me. I know maybe you watched a couple of these last 2 games, but this is thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys game. This was thrown out there, but now, obviously, we got this topic a week ago, so we'll talk about the Philly game and we'll talk about the Panthers game. And kind of just an overview of what Dallas has looked like through these first 3 or 4 games.
I'll start off first because obviously I'll let you get in depth about this, but I got a few takeaways. I got 3 big things, mainly on the offense. Let's go 4. So I got to throw in. We're just going to jump into it. Trayvon Diggs having 5 interceptions right now in the NFL. Like he's a dog. I mean, I grew a little bond of liking it. A couple of my teammates did too here at school when the HBO Hard Knocks came out. Just a good dude. He's got a good kid. Like it's just got a lot of good stuff going for him. He's been a really bright spot for that Cowboys D, and they needed it for sure. But and then Dak Prescott, he's playing really well. He's played. It's hard to say because he's my fantasy quarterback. Like 2 weeks ago, I was really mad at him because he didn't give me points-wise production what I think he should do week in, week out. But he still won the game, and he managed that.
No, I want to stop you right there. We're going to debate a little bit here because Dak Prescott didn't need to perform in that game, and I know.
That's what I said.
Your fantasy team.
I literally just answered.
But you said you expect that from him every week, but I don't. I don't expect that.
I expect that as a fantasy owner. I don't expect that as like a football fan.
I get it, but I had to throw that out. Like Dak ain't gonna won't have to do that every week.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I said I was mad on the fantasy side, but understood that he was being a good quarterback and won the game that way. But the Cowboys' run game, like holy crap, like it's taken off, and it's what you need to do to win football games and be a winning team come the end of the season. And Tony Pollard, man, shout out Tony Pollard, man. He's really gotten going. I know Zeke. But he needs that push, and they got a two-headed monster right now, and their offensive line's starting to play better. And yeah, the Cowboys have gotten a lot better, and they're winning more games as a team. It's not they get down a lot or they score a lot of points early and coast as some of the past wins in the before. Mm-hmm. And Dak's not having to go throw for 400 plus yards every week because the defense is giving up 30 plus points. I mean, they played a really good team, and Carolina's defense is legit. And now, obviously, adding Stephon Gilmore is big time, but they're going in the right direction. And I could see that since week 1 against Tampa Bay that they're going to be doing this.
I agree, and I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan for anyone who's new that tunes into this podcast. Like, I'm a ride or die Dallas Cowboy guy, and me personally, like going into this season, like, I did not necessarily have a whole lot of optimism, and
probably more of it than you.
Yeah, and I say that because I was nervous about Dak. Like, I'm not like every Cowboys fan obviously was in a sense, like not about his talent. I just, after a freak injury, you're kind of looking at it like first game back, the man hurt his shoulder in preseason, the hard knock stuff. Like, we really didn't know what was going on with Dak Prescott. And that made me nervous. I'm like, if we don't have this guy, we're going nowhere. We're not going to win ball games, and it's just going to be a waste of a season to even watch. But once I kind of lost sight of that, and week 1 happens, and we play Tampa Bay, we showed flashes on defense of what we could become, but obviously we still gave up some big plays. Anthony Brown gave up a couple of deep shots to AB. Mike Evans was open in the middle of the field quite a bit. The running game was working. Like, that's the problem with Dallas defense now, is it went from being god awful last year to now it's at a point where I think it's reached average. I think it's reached the average.
You want more. You want more for it because you see the shot. You see bits and pieces of it.
You're seeing the pieces like Diggs. You mentioned Trevon Diggs, and that's been an insanely bright spot on this Cowboys defense, which Dallas has lacked over the last, Lord, I don't even know how many years.
They got playmakers, man.
Well, you think about it. Like, we got guys that have dog in them, and we have guys that take the ball away from the offense. Right now, the Dallas Cowboys are ranked number 1 in the NFL for takeaways. Granted, it's 4 games in, and we're 3-1. It is 4 games in, right? I'm not messing that up. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're 3-1. 4 games in, and we got the most takeaways on the season. Granted, Diggs has 5. But that's huge. That's something Dallas has lacked, and I think that's why you're seeing them perform better. You saw him terrorize a division rival in the Philadelphia Eagles on primetime football, embarrass them in a game that looks like they lost by like 20-something, when in reality it felt like Dallas led the game by 60 all day. Like, it was just a blowout win. Our offense, things were clicking. Defense was performing. Tampa Bay was a fluke. I don't even want to go back and think about it because we should be 4-0. Week 3, we go to LA and we play the Chargers. Now, that's a game that I think people need to go back and start to look at and realize the Dallas Cowboys might be something.
That's when my thought process was they won that game in a different way, because it wasn't like a flashy 30-some to 30-some ball game.
Exactly.
Dak, had his 4 or 5 touchdowns. That's what I was alluding to earlier. That feels like a month ago, and that was just week 2.
Well, and my thing is like you said, honestly, you gave a great point in the fact that, like, we're not winning ball games where we have to come back, and we're not necessarily winning ball games where we're playing the Jets and it's a surefire win. Like, these wins that we're getting so far through these first 4 games are wins that we take gut punches. Yeah, we take gut punches and we keep fighting to get back into the game. Like, it's resiliency that we've lacked, and we have it right now. So for any Dallas Cowboys fan or any Dallas Cowboys fan hater, anyone that hates these Dallas Cowboys hates me for liking the Dallas Cowboys. I know I get a lot of crap for it, but don't be surprised when we win a playoff game or two, and maybe we might sneak into the NFC Championship.
Just wait. We're 4 weeks in. We're less than a quarter of the season.
Hey, without the injuries, if people can stay,
it's a lot
healthy.
Of ifs, man.
I
ain't talking postseason until we get to at least week 10. I'm
not necessarily saying that. In my head, it's just like, dude, things are in the right place.
You're excited. You should be. You should be thinking that way.
But let's switch gears. We'll go back. There's a couple other Cowboys topics or player topics.
And we can skip them. Let's go to some other ones.
Well, we are going to switch gears and go to the Packers side of things here and talk about Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Where are they going to be in 2022? Now, you can go ahead and just say your thoughts because we're going to disagree here and you're going to rock with the Packers. And
Dude, I don't know. I mean, there's so many options on the table that, right? Honestly, with Aaron Rodgers, his personality and just the type of guy he is, dude, I don't think anybody can guess or predict and be wholeheartedly, this is what he's going to do with some other people that you can kind of predict where they're going to go. Rodgers will not give that. There's 3 options that obviously you're going to have. He's going to retire, he's going to be a Packer, or he's going to be another player for another team. And I was talking to one of my teammates here that I watch football with on Sundays. He's plays in a fantasy football league with Bryce and Nino Puckett. He really knows his football. And he's like, when you break it down, when you go through all the teams in the NFL, there's not a whole lot of places that Aaron Rodgers that would be the starting quarterback, not about talent wise, but people that need a quarterback one or have the money for it because he's going to be expensive and he's going to be 38, 39 and he wants a 4 to 5 year deal is what his preference has been. That's a lot of money, a lot of commitment with how the league shifting with quarterbacks. There's not a whole lot of quarterback situations that are like, that people are going to come in right away because he's not going to go to a team that needs progress or needs help. He's going to go to a team that's ready to win right now. And the team that I think, if it's not the Packers, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I said this for a couple of weeks now to a couple of my teammates. And then the stuff with Tom when, everybody's going crazy this week. If you watch the Packers Steelers game with them just looking at each other, that's been mine because they have an elite level defense. He has 3 to 4 legit weapons on the outside, and they have Najee Harris, who's a legit running back one in the NFL. I mean, just an absolute stud. But they'd have
to fix their O-line for that to happen.
Yeah, that's the only problem that they would give. But you could do that. That's a lot of money up front, and
he's got weapons.
That would be the thing because he would step in there like Nino, my teammate said, because he has options there. A lot of the other teams that have options have their quarterbacks of the future or a current quarterback that's doing well that they're paying a lot of money to.
Somewhat.
Man, Aaron Rodgers, I can see that dude retiring. If I'm being honest,
I was going to say that.
And I kind of think that I'm leaning towards that might be one of his big options because that's how that type of guy he is. He just is. I don't know how to say it.
He's a funky guy.
He's just a free spirited guy. He just beats to his own drum, but he also loves the attention, man. He loves the attention. He won't ever admit it. He loves being in the spotlight. He goes on the Pat McAfee show. He loves just having his name out there every week. But I gave all the options. What could happen? I really don't know. I'm not tied down to Aaron Rodgers like some of the other Packers fans are. I love him, but DA is the same thing. It's you're either going to get both of them back or you're not going to get either of them, in my opinion. It's just not going to happen.
I think it depends on how much money they throw DA.
If
they throw him a king's ransom,
$5 million a year.
Yeah, but if you lose Rodgers and the Packers say, well, we want to keep Devontae Adams,
signing him.
I think there's a possibility that they just throw a king's ransom at him or somebody looking to
we also got to remember with the Packers don't have a whole lot of cap space or just any cap. And after we just gave $100 million to Aaron Jones, we're not a big market team. We don't have money like that. Like there's just not.
So DA is a free agent at the end of this year, correct?
Yeah.
Unrestricted, I'm assuming.
I don't know the details, to be honest. I'm not going to
So does he get tagged? We can't rule that out.
I'd be happy with that.
But then what if he says I'm not playing?
Because he wants to get paid like the number one wide out in the league, and
which he should. He should get his money.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying that, but it's hard to find some places going to pay you $25 million a year when he's approaching his 30s. He's getting there. I think he's 27, 28.
I could very well see him going to the New York Jets.
But why in the hell would he want to go there? He would rather take the money, a little less money, and come back to the Packers because
I don't think so.
He's not going. I can rule that out. He ain't going to the New York Jets.
I don't know. I think that man's a money chaser.
But yeah, it's tough, and I think live is going to determine on what the season plays out. That's the end of the day. Yeah. That's how sports work. That's how the industry is. But it's going to be what happens when it comes to postseason time if they can finally get over the hump with those guys, or just have another postseason failure. I mean, that's going to be a lot easier for people to get out and not let people not bring some guys back if there's a shortcoming. But you win a Super Bowl with those guys leading it, it changes a lot of stuff, and that's what. Until that happens and postseason stuff, I don't know.
I got 3 teams for Aaron Rodgers. Now, 2 of these teams might surprise you because you may think they have their quarterback in line, or they may have options. But here's the thing. I don't care how old Aaron Rodgers is. If he's 40 right now, this day, and I don't care what the man's being paid. If he comes to my team and I have some weapons and an average defense, I'm automatically a contender.
Yeah.
No matter what, because you're looking at it right now with Green Bay. An average to bad defense.
No, I wouldn't go quite that far. They've been playing a lot.
Your defense, yeah, they've been playing. They're bad. They're bad.
I don't know what you're talking about. So you think they're that much worse than the Dallas Cowboys? Get out of here. I'm not going
to. No, I'm not saying they're much worse.
Yeah, but when you were just talking about how the Cowboys are getting close to being an average defense, I feel that way with the Packers.
I just said an average to bad. I just said an average to bad defense.
And then you add the bad part. You didn't add the bad part for the Cowboys.
Because I don't think they're bad anymore. I think they're average. I think Green Bay is still in between bad and average.
We're banged up. We're bad right now with the injuries. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but my thing is like I'm saying, between bad and average with that defense, don't even say anything. Offensively, you got your weapons in Devontae Adams. I'm sorry, you don't have anything else besides Aaron Jones. And Aaron Rodgers makes every tight end in the world look good. Tanyan, I like Tanyan, though. But like previous years with guys like, you still have Mercedes Lewis.
He's our blocking guy.
Like Jared Cook. Like these average tight ends that turn out to be pretty damn good tight ends because Aaron Rodgers turns them into something and just he's a freaking football whisperer. Like the man just knows things in and out. So what I'm getting to is you look at a team like the Denver Broncos, a team with a legit defense, a team with young receivers like Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, an up-and-coming running back who's a rookie this year, and Javonte Williams, a decent O-line. Shout out Quinn Miners, who's from Whitewaters, now got his first start with the Denver Broncos. But you bring in Aaron Rodgers to that Denver Broncos equation, and that team all of a sudden is back to being just as good, if not better, than they were when they were in the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning.
No, they're better.
That's what I'm saying.
They're losing a little bit on the offensive side with the
defensively they're a little older. I mean, Vaughn
I just don't know if they're going to have money. How much did they pay Teddy this last year?
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just subtract the money.
Saying, but when you talk about all those just quick stuff with money and then the position, it's hard to find a fit. It really is.
But let's just not disclude the money factor of this, but let's assume that the team is able to make a couple flurry of moves that frees up enough cap space to bring in Rodgers. Teams find a way to do that. If you want a player, you're going to get the player. I don't care what the cap situation is. If you want him, you're going to go get him. And I think another team to look out for would be a team that, if this guy starts to struggle, and this team says, you know what, our defense is slowly but surely becoming legit, and this quarterback struggles, I think you could very well see Aaron Rodgers looking at the Carolina Panthers. And it wouldn't shock me because Sam Darnold, obviously, the dude's playing average ball right now. Good. I'll say good. He's playing good ball because he's playing good ball. he's playing great ball for Sam Darnold. He's playing good ball for an NFL quarterback. Granted, he was on the New York Jets in a system that's just horrendous, and I don't even want to discuss the New York Jets. But anyways, with Andy, I about just said Andy Dalton. But
wow,
yeah,
it's been a long day.
It has been a long day. But Sam Darnold, if the man struggles, I think you look at Carolina and Matt Rule, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Great coach.
I love the man. I love the man as a head coach already. And he's just turning things around. Granted, their GM is probably helping out, obviously making moves. But they made 2 moves today, and we'll talk about the one. Or not. They made 1 move today, and they made 2 in the last 2 weeks. You bring in C.J. Henderson, you bring in Stephon Gilmore, 2 DBs to surefire that defense and make it even more legit. When you think about it, down the road, they're also going to get J.C. Horn back, possibly down the road this season. I don't know about this season, but next season for sure.
Next year.
Yeah, so you got Horn, C.J., Gilmore.
Well, Gilmore's a free agent at the end of this year. That's gonna.
But Gilmore's going to want a new contract, so I guarantee you see Carolina possibly throw that money too.
Yeah, because that's what they were saying. The main reason why the Packers didn't, because the Packers were in on him first, but they didn't have the cap space to sign him because he wanted to be signed right away.
Yeah, so I think you see Carolina make that extension move. But anyway, Aaron Rodgers, I could see going to Carolina, Denver, and then let's throw in a dark horse team that I could possibly see. I think when you think about it, if Deshaun Watson gets shipped out, you could possibly look at Houston.
I don't think anything.
He doesn't have. They don't have a squad. They don't have. It's not
the only thing that I'm thinking out of this. Yeah, it's with the head coach and the experience and the winningness and the franchise ability of whatever, if how you want to say it. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion, because the type of guy that Aaron Rodgers is, just the way he talks and carries himself. He's either going to go back home to the West Coast, which is out of the equation now with San Francisco drafting Trey Lance this year, or staying with the Packers where he's been his whole life.
Okay,
and
let me present an idea.
The comfort thing. No, I understand what you're saying. This Aaron Rodgers is weird, man. He's just interesting stuff.
But here's what I want to present to you is, you say that Aaron Rodgers wants a contender. He's going to automatically pick one of these teams, like you mentioned. Who did you mention?
Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers. So you mentioned the Steelers. He wants to go to a contender. Now, you mentioned it's about the contending team. It's not necessarily about the money. I mean, he wants to get paid, but at the end of the day, I think for Aaron Rodgers, the number one most important thing the man wants is control. I think he wants to be able to help make decisions for his team, the people around him. He wants to impact the organization. He wants to be a person who pushes towards this happening, that happening, and giving reason behind it. So that is why I bring up other teams that aren't contenders, because I believe that even if he went to a Houston Texans team and they give him the control to make that team better and he makes decisions, he's going to be happy wherever he goes if he gets control. And like you said,
I can see that more so Carolina. Houston, he ain't going to Houston. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I don't think you will either. I throw him in as a dark horse, but I could see Carolina or Denver.
Carolina, that's not bad.
Right? I like Pittsburgh. I think that'd be a hell of a move for Pittsburgh to make.
I've been thinking about it more and more. It's like holy, because he loves Pittsburgh. He said Pittsburgh just took town so many times.
I like Pittsburgh.
All right, next one. Let's.
But hold on, I'm just gonna say Da gets tagged, and I'm not gonna go.
I hope so.
I'm not gonna go anywhere with that. I don't think he'll follow Rodgers, if that's what anyone was wondering.
I don't think so either.
All right, we've been going for quite a bit. We got some topics left. I'm going to look at this list we got presented to us, and we'll just talk about we'll go with 2 more, and then we'll just save some more for another episode. We've been on here a little bit talking. Looking at this list, we'll look for the current one. All right, so we'll cover these 2. Maybe we'll get to 3. All right, so we've kind of already talked about this move already. Stephon Gilmore to the Carolina Panthers. This is current. I want to cover this right now. I'll just lay my thoughts out quick, and again, and you can bounce back off me. But Stephon Gilmore, in my perspective, I was kind of on Twitter last night talking to someone who listed him number 3 in the league. When in my opinion, no, I don't think the man's top 5 anymore. I think maybe he's in the 7 to 10 range. I'd put him in that range maybe, but the injury history, the age, it's up there. But it's a hell of a move when it comes to the price they paid for him. You pay a 2023 sixth-round pick, and yeah, sure, you may have to throw the man some money.
Yeah, that's going to be the price they paid. This was the bargaining chip. This is the beginning. But
here's the thing: people look into that money aspect so much. If you want the player, you're going to pay him. Like I said, you get who you want. So forget the money aspect of it. If Stephon Gilmore goes and gets hurt, the first practice, if he goes and gets hurt, all you gave up was a sixth-round pick. You didn't give up a first. You didn't give up a third. You didn't even give up a fifth. You gave up a sixth-round pick in next year's draft. So this is a great move by the Carolina Panthers. He's a leader. He's a veteran. J.C. Horn may not be playing, but he has Stephon Gilmore to look at, watch, learn from his game. He's going to be a mentor to guys like even C.J. Henderson, who's only in his second or third year, who's just a first-round pick that got traded from the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a great move. Carolina needed to do it. They need DBs. Their defense is becoming better and better daily. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's some of the frame mindset that I have with Richard Sherman. It's not because Gilmore's still on another level than Sherman is, but just how the career is transcending with the injuries and just he's good when he's on the field. That's the first thing I want to not take away from this is the talent on the field. When dude's on the field, I mean, he is a top five player, and but each injury and each time you sit out and the games you miss each year that goes by, that stuff adds up.
I just don't think he'll get back to that.
And that stuff adds up way quicker when you start getting older and being in the league, for a good amount of years, because it's just tough on people's bodies. It's a grind. Mm-hmm. And you see how quick people can go from here to there, and or the opposite, just on opportunities. But again, with the football stuff aside, like you said, with the young and fiery defense they got with young studs on there, it's going to be really good for them to see how he goes about it. As he's rehabbing right now, so is J.C. Horn. Way completely different injuries, but they're going to see each other. They're going to be in contact at practice when they're doing stuff. And I didn't even think about that with J.C. Horn when you mentioned that earlier, that it's a really good bit there that I think it's going to be good. And it's going to help that defense regardless if he's there past this year or not. It's going to be lasting effects that you just gave up a 6th-round draft pick for some knowledge from an older guy.
Yeah. All right. So I think we covered that one pretty good. I got 2 more that I want to get to for sure with this episode 57. And this one, another current one, happened last night. Jalen Smith of the Dallas Cowboys was cut, released outright, unrestricted free agent in the National Football League. My perspective, I don't have much to say on it other than Jalen Smith, in my eyes, I hope will be successful at his next team. I hope. He's a great person. Seems like a great guy. Seems like a great leader. Seems like a captain of a defense. But talent-wise, I don't think he's a captain of a defense. I don't think his best ball is ahead of him. I think he's played his best ball. And that also depends on the system that he gets in. I think if you see him go to the Kansas City Chiefs, he may start to look decent because
he's a Packer. He's a Green Bay Packer, buddy.
He did get signed?
Yeah, it's official.
Okay, well, that is news to me. So you just got my initial reaction on it. Okay, well, then we can talk about that. I've been at class.
I was like, did he not see this earlier today?
No, I saw that they were interested because I sent you that. I didn't know it became official. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't have Wi-Fi at my apartment. So
I'm looking right now. Okay, it says Green Bay Smith finalizing deal. Okay, so he's going to Green Bay. Wow. Okay, so that's news to me. So you guys will hear that for the first time when I hear this. That's kind of funny, actually. But yeah, so now I'll just give the reason why I think he got cut.
See, baby, go Chiefs.
Yeah. Jalen Smith got cut simply for one reason and one reason only. Contract issues. Now, Dallas gave a man money that has a pretty bad injury history. Granted, he's been able to stay on the field quite a bit. This offseason had surgery. And here's the thing. If this man would have got hurt the rest of the season at any point in time and would have missed an extended time or got hurt, I don't know what the exact verbiage is on the contract, but if he missed time, he was out with an injury, automatically Dallas is on the books for $9.2 guaranteed million next season. Now, because that didn't happen and we cut him, we won't have to worry about that extra $9.2 million, which, in what I've read and I've looked at, will give us enough money to be able to re-sign our up-and-coming tight end, Dalton Schultz. That money will more than likely be used to sign Dalton Schultz, which would be a great move. And who knows, maybe they throw some of that money into Michael Gallup, depending on his situation. But we'll see with that. But now that I know that he's going to the Green Bay Packers, when I was reading about it earlier, it looks like LaFleur had some history with him, or familiarity with him. So hopefully
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He was an assistant at Notre Dame.
Okay, well, we're good for Jalen Smith. I got nothing against the guy. I just don't think he's a great linebacker in our system, and he hasn't been successful the last 2 years. Good luck with Green Bay Packers. I think. I mean,
hey, we need bodies, man. We actually have some. What's his first name? I can't even think. Devarius Campbell. I can't think of his first name. Who came over from the Arizona Cardinals? He's been our best defensive player at linebacker, and we're not having Zadarius Smith, who's one of the best pass rushers in the game. It's tough not having him there. And Jair, we don't know how long. I think Jair's probably going to end up being out for the year after the fall he had this last week. I mean, those are our three best defensive players along with Kenny Clark right now. And we got a lot of other starters out right now, and it's bad on the defense. So it's bodies. We just need bodies in there who have NFL experience, who can give us something, some veteran experience that, hey, we might hit something. And you're trying to see something and get something to work. That's really all my thing is on that. You're just going to have to wait and see because he's going to get playing time as soon as he gets in there.
I mean, he may even play this week.
We just lost our starting middle linebacker now. We just lost Chris Barnes.
If he's, I don't know what the vaccination and COVID protocols are for if you got to still test negative like 2 days before you can be there or whatever. But
yeah,
I mean, what is today? Today's Wednesday.
He's fine.
So I mean, if it's finalized and he's able to practice tomorrow, what time do you guys play Sunday?
3:25.
3:25. I guess the time don't necessarily matter that much. Thursday, Friday.
He's a veteran. He knows NFL schemes. If he's clear enough and can play, he's gonna be dressed to play, and it's not.
It will be interesting to see him in a Green Bay Packer uniform. I will say that. It's always strange when someone from your team, who's like a well-known name, starts to play for someone else. It will be interesting to see. But yeah, I've decided I want to hold off on that last topic. Well, that topic, I'll discuss what it is because I actually want to spend, we could almost spend a full episode on this topic. It was presented to me by Drew Brogy, a guy from our hometown. It's actually a fantastic topic to discuss, and it's rookie QB playing time. And what he meant by that when he told me about it is compare situations. For example, Patrick Mahomes.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
And then you look at Justin Herbert. And then talk about the field situation, Dak, how he was thrown into with the Romo injury. That's a topic that I want to save because I want.
Dude, that's a hell of a podcast right there. Because you see so many people. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you like that, but there's just even just the last 4 to 5 years, you could name so many guys that are successful and not successful. Just being an early draft pick in quarterbacks and having that pressure to run a franchise. It's tough, man. Systems, personalities of the actual quarterback themselves, coaching staffs, the GM, who the players around them. There's so many factors that go into it. But yeah, that's going to be a good. It's nice to have these because now every couple we can do it once a month or something. We always get back to these questions.
Exactly.
This was fun. We haven't done a back and forth just picking each other's brains off these questions in a while.
Yeah, and this we were able to get through 6 topics that you guys gave us. We kind of covered some of them indirectly without even mentioning exactly what they were. For example, we went over the Green Bay defense, and that was one of these topics to discuss. We covered that. So we covered, 6 of them. We got through 6 of them. I think that's pretty good for the time that we've been talking.
Yeah.
But like Gannon said, I want to be able to keep able to come back to these topics. And when we need an episode or we want to talk about something that's present or breaking news happens a day or a day before, we'll come on and we'll do a fan requested discussion again, and have some fun with it. It was a good time just going back and forth. Like Gannon said, I like that. Kind of debate a little bit, discuss moves around the league. I mean, tonight I guess we really only talked NFL, but we do have topics that will cover other sports. So if you have any ideas that you want to send us, I don't care if it's tennis, cricket, basketball, golf, volleyball, send us these topics. We'll love to discuss them. We'll do the research that we need to do to be able to present you guys with information that's relevant to this topic that you bring us. So go ahead and do that. Like I said, through six topics tonight. We got a lot more to cover eventually, but this was episode 57. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Episode 58 will be coming next week, but until then, Gronk spike that subscribe button for us.